Hi guys, welcome back. It's 29th of July, almost noon time here. I had my first chemo on 24th of July last Thursday. So today we are going to cover like what was my experience, a brief on what kind of cancer I have, what was my chemo regimen as in the cycles, the medications and all those things. Then how was the drug infused into my body, because there are multiple ways to do that. Then what are the possible side effects which I have gone through and which you may experience if you are going through the same drug. Then how to prepare for chemo. I'll be making a separate video as well about that, but I'll just be giving a brief in terms of how I prep for my chemo and what was the overall time taken while I was in hospital for the whole infusion process. And lastly, how do you get out of the chemo in terms of mental stress, handling yourself physically and all those things. So let's begin. First of all, I was diagnosed with high-grade uterine sarcoma. It all started with my usual fibroid diagnosis. I had undergone multiple surgeries back last year. I have a separate video posted in my channel to walk you through that. Please go through that if you need further information on that. After the uterus removal surgery and the ovary removal surgery, it was decided that I have to undergo chemotherapy. Now, my chemotherapy in terms of the chemo regimen was divided into 4 cycles. Each cycle is 21 days. Even within those 21 days, I would be having my chemo given twice. So basically my chemo regimen is day 1, day 8, and then again on day 22, then day 31, like that. So talking about the drugs which are to be given to me, so day 1 would be primarily Gemcitabine 675. This is for the first cycle. Now every cycle the drug dose would change based on your stats and your adaptability to the drugs and all. So as of now, the day 1 is Gemcitabine 675 and day 8 is going to be Docetaxel plus Gemcitabine combined. So this G plus D combination is apparently a standard line of treatment given for sarcomas, many of the sarcomas. Now moving to the other medications which are part of your pre-meds and post-meds, as in pre-infusion and post-infusion. That will primarily be some nausea and vomiting related medicines which you will be getting. So every primary drug which you are going to get, for example in my case it's Gemcitabine, every drug would have their own set of side effects which can be a long list, but usually Gemcitabine is well tolerated. It's not really that toxic as such. So for me, the pre-meds which I had received on the D-Day was Aprepitant, which is for nausea and vomiting, and then I was given 2 more medicines which is Dexamethasone, which is again for nausea and vomiting, and another one was Palanosetron. So these 3 drugs formed part of my pre-med set. Then after the main primary drug infusion, I was given 4 to 5 medications which I had to take orally back at home for 3 to 5 days, which I'll be coming to later on as such. Now talking about the infusion mode, so there are multiple ways chemotherapy can be given to you. So for me it was inserted through IV line, like I mentioned. Then in terms of the time taken, so for me I reached hospital on Thursday around 8:30 or 9 o'clock. So admission took around 40 to 45 minutes, which may vary based on your hospital and the type of coverage you have, whether it be cash or insurance. After my admission, there were 2 drugs which I mentioned, Dexa and Palanosetron, which was given to me. So it took around roughly 25 minutes. These 2 drugs both were given in terms of injection. So Dexa was given in terms of small bottle, whereas Palanosetron was given directly through injection into my IV line. After 25 minutes, around 10:45 or so, the primary drug was given, Gemcitabine. So Gemcitabine, doctor had prescribed to be given in 250 ml saline bottle over 30 minutes. Considering it was my first time, so the nurses had taken it a bit slow. So for me, it went from 10:45 to 11:30, around roughly 45 minutes it took for the complete infusion to be over. and that's it. So once that was done, I was asked to wait for like roughly around 20 minutes or so, just to monitor that everything is going fine and I don't really have any severe allergy or side effects as such. And then it took further 15 to 20 minutes for the discharge process. For the first time, for some of you, it may take longer for the discharge because the nurses have to prepare proper documentation and everything. So for me, it took a bit longer, but that what I understand is that from next time onwards, it's going to be comparatively faster. So overall, I can say it took roughly around 2.5 to 3 hours as such. In terms of prepping for your chemo, so if you're going for example, for me, the hospital which I went to is quite close to my place, so I didn't really have to fuss about a lot of things. What I would advise you guys is to pack light, not worry too much about carrying a lot of things. Some primary things, for example, water bottle, sanitizer, and a light meal, I think is decent enough for you to carry along with you. I would also be making a separate video just to cover in terms of prep, because I sort of get into a zone wherein I try to be over prepared sometimes. So I had prepared a checklist in terms of what to carry and carry not. Maybe you can have a look at that video, and if it helps, you might plan accordingly. Lastly, in terms of how to manage your side effects. Now, like I mentioned, that every drug has different side effects. Gemcitabine in particular is not very toxic. It does not really have a lot of side effects. For me, for example, I did not face any hair loss. Today is day 6 for me, by the way. So I feel absolutely great. I mean, I do not feel I don't feel that I have actually had any side effects whatsoever from the chemotherapy. But again, like, it depends on individual, and if you are being given certain medications, for example, for nausea like MSET, and for gastric, like for example pantoprazole, which I was given, you might really be able to overcome a lot of side effects. You might not even be able to experience those side effects, which is a good thing. One problem which I did face was constipation. I mean, my bowel movement was not so great, which wasn't the case before the chemo started. My digestion was perfectly fine, but though I was taking a syrup which is Duflac, 10 ml every night before going to bed, even then I felt that I was struggling with my bowel movement. So after 2 or 3 days, I increased the dosage to 15 ml. That helped to some extent, but I think what primarily helped is drinking a lot of water, which I already did. Sort of, I weigh around 50 kilograms, and I drink on an average 2 liters of water, excluding other forms of fluids. So even then, I was finding it difficult in terms of digestion. So increasing your fluid intake is one thing which worked for me. Secondly, increasing your fiber intake, because I had broken down my meal intake further into 6 meals. I was initially before chemo, I was taking like 4 to 5 meals. After that, I switched to around 6 meals. Even during those 6 meals, initial 1 or 2 days, I was not really focusing that much on eating a lot of fruits. I did consume fruits, but I had to increase my fruit intake or fiber intake to handle my digestion issue. And thirdly is being active. For me, since I did not really have any side effect whatsoever other than the digestion issue, I was able to eat well, I was able to be active, walk well. I was not primarily keeping in mind I was doing so, but every day sort of I walked around 10,000 steps. So I think, and that too not in one shot, I tried to do that in 2 to 3 outings every day. Even if you're not going out, you can do that within your home also. You don't really need to aim for 10k, but just try to get out of the bed or try to walk as much as possible. I think that helps to regulate your bowel movements and all. So that really helped for me. I did not particularly face any loss of appetite. neither did I face any loss of hair. Gemcitabine is known to cause hair thinning, but I have not experienced that so far. One thing which I did before my chemo was to trim down my hair. So I went from this cut to boy cut, and just yesterday I decided to shave my head. It didn't really got to do with anything in terms of side effect I have faced so far, but I'm just prepping for my next dose, which is docetaxel, and which is confirmed to cause hair loss. That's what I have understood from doctors and others. So lastly, I wanted to talk about how do you handle your days post chemo. Because what I would suggest is that, and what I have done is that, if you're feeling great on a certain day, please do go out. By going out, I mean you can just go for a long drive. You can also probably try to write. For example, I am doing that nowadays. Like I mentioned in my previous video, I'm writing in this diary my daily experiences as to what I'm feeling each and every day. You can also make videos like I am doing. You can probably engage in some games, like me and my family members are playing Uno every other night. So try, or you can binge watch your favorite OTT content. So please try to keep yourself engaged, because the chemo and the medications, particularly, even if no side effect, can be a little irritating for you, and you might not be at your grade at some of the days. So with that note, I would come back with another video post my next chemo. Please watch out for my separate video in terms of prepping for chemo, and see you soon. Thank you.